secret deal with the teachers' unions has come with a $63 million price tag on retirement gratuities. Yesterday, you admitted, and I quote, "The money has been moved around so you could pay for the perks." That's $63 million that could have gone into forest schools, technology, textbooks for our students, but was instead diverted to unions. This comes at a cost, Speaker, to students in Ontario who have had to suffer through the loss of extracurricular activities, and some had to lose through school days and even report card writing. So by, quote, moving the money around, you just rewarded the same unions who jeopardized the future of these same students. So the question is quite simple. Why did this Premier sell out our students in this province to the unions at a cost of $63 million?
Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Both I and the Minister of Education were clear yesterday, Mr. Speaker, that the money that was in the contracts when I came into this office is exactly the same money that is in the contracts today. And the savings that was found, $1.8 billion, Mr. Speaker, is the same money that was saved at the end of this contract. So what we did, Mr. Speaker, was we worked with the federations on implementation. There was money that was applied to different areas within the contract. But, Mr. Speaker, the money is the same. There is no additional money in these contracts. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, that we want to work with the education sector. We want to make sure that our students have access to extracurricular activities, and we want a respectful relationship with the teachers, with the support staff, and the school boards.
Member
That's
from Wynne, for
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Mr. Speaker, wow. Is just wow that she says that doesn't have any money attached to it. Then I also say that the e-health system is working perfectly in this province if she believes this. But back to the Premier. Yesterday you also came close to admitting that you did in fact reopen the collective agreements that you just 8 months ago you supported. You said, and I quote, "We've reopened our respective dialogue." But in your rush for an OSSTF do-over, you didn't have a quote-unquote respective dialogue with our school boards. In fact, you had no dialogue with them at all. With Regulation 274, you usurped and stripped them of their power. Now you're signing on the dotted line for them. So if this agreement is so good for parents and for students and the school boards in this province, why was it not signed by the school boards in Ontario who are going to have to pay for and implement your new deal?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I understand that the politics of division that the member opposite is playing, Mr. Speaker. I understand that she believes that it's in her best interest to continue to drive wedges. That's not what I believe, Mr. Speaker. I really believe that it's very important that we have that respectful dialogue with the education sector, Mr. Speaker, that we work with our teachers and our support staff, Mr. Speaker, and that kids have access to excellent education, including extracurriculars, Mr. Speaker. School boards were at the table, Mr. Speaker. School boards were part of this process, and I've been very clear that the process going forward, the collective bargaining process going forward, must have all of the partners at the table. And I agree with the member opposite that school boards need to be a part of that dialogue. And one of the problems over the last year was that they were not enough a part of the dialogue, and they need to be going forward, Mr. Speaker.
Final supplementary.
Dialogue at all. You just have to ask them. But let me tell you one thing. If you want to talk about the best interest in the education system, it has been Tim Hudak and the Ontario PC Caucus who have stood up for students, parents, and teachers who want to teach during the last 8 months. We did not cave, Mr. Speaker.
I'm going to take a moment to remind members of a couple of things. The first one is, when somebody is putting the question and hearing somebody from the same side yelling out is not helpful to the debate, and people answering and having other people on the same side yelling out is not helpful. And the second thing is, I continue to hear members using each other's names, which is not the condition here. It helps to lower the debate instead of raise it. And I'm going to remind that you either remark about their title or their riding. And let's leave it at that. It helps with the debate. Finish, please.
I simply have this question for the Premier. Her previous leader and the former education minister said there was no new money, we needed Bill 115. Now you're trying to tell us we have lots of money, we can buy off the unions. I want to know who's telling the truth, Dalton McGinty and Laurel Rose, or you and Liz Sanders? one thing. The only people who have suffered for the last 8 months are kids in elementary school and secondary schools in this province, and we'll continue to stand on their behalf. You won't do it. We will.
Be seated, please. Be seated, please.
Thank you. Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. There's no new money in the contracts, Mr. Speaker. Exactly the same money. You know, Mr. Speaker, for better or worse, I am standing here because of the actions of that party in education, Mr. Speaker. I'm standing here because I have fought for publicly funded education, Mr. Speaker, throughout my whole career. I really believe that government should work with education. There were 26 million student days lost under the previous government, Mr. Speaker, because of strikes, because of the hostile environment between the legislature and...
I'm getting my workout today. And I'm more than earning my money today. Actually, what I'm asking for is the civility that everyone else seems to want me to bring. I can't do it without you. Thank you.
Speaker, what moved me to run provincially was because I believe so deeply in publicly funded education. And I was so upset about what was happening under the previous government, Mr. Speaker. And we have worked tirelessly for the last 9.5 years, Mr. Speaker. We're going to continue to work to improve our education system, and we're going to do it in partnership with the teachers, with the support staff, and the school boards in our system, Mr. Speaker.
Be seated, please. Be seated, please.
Thank you. New question? The leader of the third party?
Thank you very much, Speaker. My question is to the